So when I started doing takedowns and started working on the stand-up game, I had no idea what was going on. Like, someone taught me like one takedown. I think all I learned was like a guard pull. It was like, what's your goal? It's like, oh, my goal is gonna be, I can just fall backwards. Like, and I had no sense of anything else that was going on within it. All I could think to do was just try to fall on my butt as fast as I could. And then later someone showed me a takedown. And it was like, now I have guard pull and maybe a double leg. And that's it. And that was my total understanding of the standing game. That doesn't work well at all, okay? Because there's so much going on and you're basically always trying to fit like a square peg in like a round hole. Like, 'cause that guy's not available to whatever it is you're trying to do. You're trying to arm bar someone who has their arms behind their back. If that makes sense, like from if you've done enough groundwork. So I want to think about what are my lines of attack. You have to understand what the guy's trying to do on offense to understand what you're going to need to do on defense, in my opinion. And the way I look at it is you can break the game down into some categories. The first major category is going to be, as I see it, inside his arms or outside his arms. Okay, that's the simplest category. His arms are way inside like this, which would be stupid, but if he is here, it is very easy for the other person to be going to the outside, okay? Now, that may seem stupid, like no one's ever gonna do this, okay? That's what all the arm drags are, is bringing his arm into the inside so that I can go to his back, or Russian ties, a lot of times just so you can go to the back. From the back, the reason the back is so dominant is human beings face forward, not complicated, right? From here, easy to get hip connection, and once there's hip connection, you have a possibility of providing some lift, bringing them down to the ground. There's various ways to attack from the back. The back should be, generally speaking, a win for you. If you're getting to their back, you should generally be able to win from that position. All right? Now, what does that leave us on the other side? That leaves us inside the arms. And I would say that the vast majority of what most people think of as takedowns are inside the arms in some way, shape, or form, okay? I would break inside the arms into 3 categories though, again, all right? There's 3 basic goals once I'm inside the arms that you're gonna see. This just goes from head, hips, and then to the legs, all right? Inside the arms, if I can get to the head and bring him down like this, I put him on the ground, right? I've taken his heels and the ball of his foot off the ground. You understand? We go back up. The largest category of takedown is going to be the ability to get hip to hip, okay? So it's like an underhook gets you in. People are like, oh, the underhook is good. The underhook is only as good, typically, as my ability to get hip to hip or chest to chest. Like, this doesn't help me. I'm not gonna throw him from here, right? So all of the inside space stuff that attacks, like all of your like judo throws and all this kind of stuff is about my hip attaching to his hip at an angle that is disadvantageous to him, advantageous to me. Then the last class of attacks is, in my opinion, actually very, very small, but significant, and that is legs. Like, but again, I have to be inside. If he is inside, his arms are all inside, there's no way I'm getting to those legs. So it's really just an inside category as well, all right? So once you start thinking like this, in my opinion, you kind of know that there's some broad categories of defense here. The simplest thing is, the vast majority of his takedowns come to the inside. What do I want to control? The inside space. If I can control the inside space, he's never able to like have a good purchase in the inside space. He does not control the manner in which his hips connect to my hips. I control that. I'm usually going to be in a pretty good shape, okay? Again, higher level competitors and stuff like that may throw a wrench into that, right? Like, that's what it means to be very good, right? Other things, for that inside space, if I let my headline be easily dominated, I'm in trouble, right? Like, so I have to have good base and posture to make sure my headline can't be easily exploited. And the last thing is I just have to be mindful of my legs, right? Like, if I'm not thinking about my legs at all, and I'm only up here, he can go down and start picking up my legs, right? So once you just kind of think in those basic terms, I want that inside space. I don't want so much inside space control that he goes around to my back. So there's like balancing all these different dimensions at the same time, okay? And that's just like a basic overview of how you have to think when you approach it, in my mind, is like just a sense of what can happen, okay? It's a lot to cover at the same time, but that's why we'll kind of work with just kind of good. We're thinking defensively today, so we're just going to think about good base, because good base and reasonable hand placement will make it initially very challenging for them right away.